Welcome everyone to episode 40. Yes, episode 40 of Around the Book podcast. Crazy to think we've been doing this for 40 weeks. I think it was just like a super quick, right before preseason football started, we kind of got the concept together of the show. And now look at this, we're 40 episodes in. So it's exciting. Hopefully we got another 40 in us or another 400, who knows. But this week, we're going to be talking about NBA playoffs, actually NBA finals, sorry, NHL, Stanley Cup finals. We're going to have a lot baseball, NASCAR. We have the Memorial Tournament this weekend. It's just going to be a lot going on. So, also, I just want to point out the Reds are back.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah. I think we've won our 10 of our last, or 9 of our last, 12 or 13 or something like that. So way better than a 12-game losing streak we were on. So we're back. But let's just go ahead and get into it. I guess let's start with the Memorial Tournament. Do you guys want me to start with my bets? Do you guys have your bets for the Memorial Tournament, or are you guys not betting on it this weekend?
You can start. I got bets that too.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
same.
All right. So, I want to talk about last week. I forget who lost it for me, but they got 21st. I just need them to. They were, I think, -7, and they need to be -8, and I just wanted to scream. So that was super annoying.
Yeah, that last week sucked. I think my winner was Alex Noren, and he had an aneurysm on the course.
Yeah,
it was. I don't think he made the cut, which is very out of character for him.
Yeah,
it was bad. I think out of my 3 top 20 picks, I think 2 of them didn't make the cut.
Dang. So, well, I almost had one of them almost didn't make the cut, but he was 30th maybe, and came roaring back, and I think he ended up finishing top 11 or something like that. But yeah, that was dumb as hell last week. Closest I've ever been, and missed it by one fucking placement. But we move on. I think I'm a glutton for punishment here because I'm going to do another top 20, but I'm going to do 4 legs this time, even though I can't win a 3 leg. So the natural conclusion is to just make it harder on yourself.
It's like blackjack strategy. Every time you lose, you just double down.
Yeah, exactly. You just
make it back.
Yeah, you make it back. You double down. That way you get back what you lost, and then you gain a little. So, all right. My the 4 I'm going to pick to go top 20, Scotty Scheffler. I mean, he's the favorite to win it all. So that really, that's -600, so it's not going to be doing much. I have Ludwig Oberg -105, Victor Hovland at -165, and Schauffele at -275. All of them to finish top 20 is at +398. I don't know what to do at this point. I think it's just going to be luck one day that this is going to hit. And then I also did a winner of Victor Hovland at +1600. I'm just feeling some good vibes from Victor this weekend.
I like it.
What
do you got, Jake?
All right. So I also have just a couple top 20 picks. Throughout this whole year, golf has not been kind to me. So I'm kind of just throwing some stuff at the wall here. But my first bet for top 20 is Justin Thomas at +100. This is definitely my safest. He's been hitting the ball really well, and he's been very good on the green recently. He kind of finishes around this most weeks. I think at +100, that really shows that. But I think this is a nice one if you want to plug it into a parlay, just an extra leg. It's got some decent value. I'm also going with Max Homa for the top 20 at +130. He had, I forgot if it was 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, but he played pretty ugly one of these times in the last couple weeks. But I feel like whenever he has an ugly week, he bounces back well. And he's done pretty well at this course in the past. So I think at plus 130 for the top 20, it's pretty decent value for someone who is able to get in the top 20 decently often. And then my final one is Keegan Bradley. Let me find the odds for this at plus 170 for top 20. He's been playing really well. He's made the cut the last 5 weeks. Finished second place a couple weeks ago, the Charles Schwab Challenge. I honestly think he's played well at this course before. I honestly think it's worth maybe even like a top 10 or a top 5 bet, but that's a little bit of a long shot. So I think at plus 170, it's a bit safer for the top 20, and it's still pretty solid value.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my golf picks for the week.
Nice. I like it. Casey, I'm kind of rolling with you this week a little bit. Got some similar picks. I'm going with 3 to finish top 20. But I'm playing it really safe this week. I'm taking Scheffler at minus 600. And then I got Colin Morikawa at minus 190 and Siwoo Kim at plus 140. Memorial's a tough course. And typically at a course like this, the favorites tend to win out. So you don't tend to see a lot of random people kind of moving up and down the leaderboard. Kind of like what we see at somewhere like the Canadian Open last week, or like at Waste Management, where like guys just come out of the woodwork to have big weeks. This is a week to kind of go with the favorites, I think. And the guys I picked all play this course really well, and they all tend to finish high at tough courses.
Yeah.
So those 3 parlayed together give me plus 327 odds. So I think it's okay value for a fairly safe parlay bet. And then where I'm kind of swinging for the fences a little bit, my winner this week, I'm betting on Colin Morikawa to win outright. I think he's one of those guys that I think's long overdue for a tournament win, and he's playing really good golf. And I think he's one of the top 5 golfers in this field. And I think among the bets to win, I think he is very much the best value for the Memorial Tournament. I mean, right now, looking at the odds, he is 4th in the odds, and Scheffler and Schauffele are both under 1,000 odds, and then it's McIlroy at 1,000 and Morikawa at plus 1,400. So I think Morikawa's value is really good there for being honestly the 4th biggest favorite for this tournament. That's what I got this weekend for golf, and hopefully I can get my shit together, because like Jake, I have been getting taken to the cleaners the last month or so on golf.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I just think I'm not meant to bet on golf. It's not what I was put on this earth for.
No, I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I would keep doing it, but I shouldn't. So let's move on to the NASCAR boys. We have everyone's favorite Toyota Save Mart 350 this weekend. I know
good one.
Yeah. I know everyone's been looking forward to it. So I'm doing something stupid where I'm pulling in the golf into NASCAR, and I'm doing 3 guys to finish top 10.
Oof.
I haven't hit one of these yet, but this is the week. Martin Truex Jr. at minus 400. Chase Elliott minus 250. Here's the kicker: Denny Hamlin minus 110.
I don't hate that at all.
If you parlay all those together, you're at plus 234. So not big odds, but we're going to dip our toe into getting some top 10 parlays hitting. And then I just want Chase Elliott to win it at plus 850. I don't know. I just feel like it's been like who we've been expecting the past few races. I feel like who's been winning. And I don't think Elliott's been up there, so I think Chase Elliott's going to win it this weekend.
Okay. Did you get that parlay on DraftKings?
Yeah.
Oh, I might have to trail you on that because I like that parlay a lot. I mean, if barring a wreck, I don't see that not hitting.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah.
Jake, do you have NASCAR this week?
I have F1, not NASCAR. So if you have NASCAR,
yeah.
maybe do yours and then
All right. Sounds good. The thing is, NASCAR's kind of similar to F1 this week. We got a road race.
Yeah.
I love the road races. And at this one in particular, Sonoma, Martin Truex Jr. has absolutely dominated. I believe he has 4 career wins, and 3 of them are in the last 5 years at this track. So he is my pick to win outright at plus 550. I know he is the favorite, so it's not terrific value, but I mean, I think out of everyone else in the field, he probably has almost as many wins as the rest of the field combined at Sonoma. I'd have to double check the numbers, but I'm pretty sure it's probably pretty close because a lot of the guys that used to do really well at the road courses have all retired pretty much. Guys like Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, guys like that. So I think he's a really safe bet. And then for top 3, I'm going Kyle Larson at plus 200. Larson, I believe, won last year or 2 years ago at Sonoma. So I think he's a safe pick to finish top 3. He's usually hovering around there anyways. And plus 200 solid value for a guy that I think if Truex Jr. doesn't win, I think he's also one of the favorites. And then to finish top 5, going with another pick of yours, Casey. I'm going Chase Elliott plus 110 to finish top 5. It wouldn't surprise me to see Chase Elliott win this race. He's a great road course driver as well. And finally, I know he hasn't been having a good year, but on a road course, he's too good of a driver to be getting plus 200 odds to finish top 10, and that's Joey Logano.
Yeah.
Like he's just too good of a driver to get plus 200 for a top 10 finish at a course where the top drivers, like usually the best drivers, rise to the top of the road courses.
Yeah.
So that's what I have. I'm also taking Toyota as my winning manufacturer at plus 130. The Hendrick cars used to do really well at the road courses, but with guys like Jeff Gordon, and to a lesser extent, Jimmy Johnson retiring, the Toyotas over the last few years have kind of started to take over at the road courses. And so I like them at plus 130. So that's what I got for Sonoma this week. Should be a fun race.
I just realized they were racing at Sonoma. That's only like an hour and a half away from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I might
go.
I might have to. All right.
So yeah, if you can just get into like the infield, like I don't know, I heard like I don't know if they have like general admission to like just like walk around somewhere. That'd be dope.
Yeah, I've never been to like a race before. But I've always wanted to. You guys remember that video of that kid we watched? Like super early, like one of the first episodes in the podcast. It was at a NASCAR race, and he was like, "These cars are going really fast."
Yeah.
That's how I would be. That'd be my attitude.
We're going fast and left.
All right. So for this week, Canadian Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc just won last week at Monaco. He's been racing really well this year, and he's getting plus 500 odds to win the Canadian Grand Prix this week. So I like those odds as outright race winner. And then I also like a plus 120 for him to finish in the top 2, because if it's not him, it's probably going to be Verstappen like it is almost every week. So plus 120 to come in second, I think is pretty decent value for Leclerc. I also like George Russell to win at plus 5,500. This is a lot more of a long shot, but Mercedes cars usually do really well at this track. And then on that same note, I have the other Mercedes driver, Lewis Hamilton, for a podium finish, which is top 3 at plus 1,200. He's done really, really well at this track. He's won before in the past. Mercedes does well at this track, and he's getting plus 1,200 just to get third, which I think, even though at this point in his career it could be a little bit of a long shot, I still like taking that value on him. And then I also like Oscar Piastri at plus 120 for a podium finish. He drives for McLaren. They've been doing really well this year with Lando Norris, and Piastri's got on the podium a couple times over the last month or two. And I think that's all. Yeah, that's all my F1 bets for the week.
Nice. All right. So I like that. I did find the video. you guys gonna watch it again? All right.
For the 40th episode, we might as well.
Yeah, for the 40th episode, let's watch
I mean,
it.
it's one of the
drinking at
All right, here we go. We'll restart.
I started drinking at 6 a.m. We're here now. I don't know what time it is, but I'm rolling deep. And those cars are going real fast and real left, son. They're going fast and left. Fuck yeah.
Time to help people customize and
shit.
save with Liberty Mutual.
No free ads.
Oh my god, that the video never gets old. It just never does. It's one of those that you can just put on whenever, and it's always funny.
I feel like there's no one in California that acts like that, though. Or am
No,
I
you'd be surprised.
wrong?
There's a lot of people in California. There's a lot of people that I think would act exactly like that. But I feel like at a NASCAR race, that's,
yeah,
it's kind of the vibe you should.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like flies when they get around those like bug zapper things. They just they just know it's right there, so they all just flock to it. Anyways, let's move on. We'll save the best for last, so let's move on to baseball. Do you guys have any baseball picks?
Not this week.
I have a couple for tomorrow.
All right, yep,
Um,
I have one. You want to go ahead and kick us off for your bets tomorrow?
Yeah, I only have two.
right.
I'm taking the Yankees run line against the Twins at plus 145, and the Red Sox run line against the White Sox at minus 125. I don't think I've seen the Yankees run line have this good value in a while at plus 145. And the Twins are good, but the Yankees are much better, so I think there's a pretty decent chance they can win by 2, and that would be pretty solid value. And then with the Red Sox, I'm just betting against the White Sox. That's really
Yeah.
the White Sox have become the new team that I just bet against. So that's the logic behind that one.
Yeah. Yeah, the Tommy Pham's a piece of shit. I don't like him. He's such a hothead, dude. He can't. What was that? So, like, have you guys seen the video of him sliding into home when he got all pissed off the other day?
Yeah, I
not in
saw
the
that,
fight.
but I don't know like the full context.
Yeah, well, I just
Around
want to know the angle he was coming in at because he was like 4 feet to the right of the baseline. So I don't know what angle he was coming in at. I don't know. He just like, I feel like he's making so much out of it. But I do have a parlay for tomorrow. I went, and it's nothing big. I'm just trying to get some winners on the board here. Probably shouldn't have said that because now they're all going to lose. I took the Cardinals money line against the Rockies. The Rockies are struggling right now. I took the Braves money line against the Nationals. Those two teams have met a couple times this year so far. They have played some very good series. So I think the Braves will pull this one out. And then I took the Dodgers minus 1.5 against the Pirates. only because Skeens isn't pitching. So I think the Dodgers have a better chance of covering that 1.5. So, and if you parlay all that together, it's at plus 326.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I also have live right now Angels to win at plus 154 against the Padres, and they're up 1-0. So, let's get into hockey. Do you guys have hockey picks for what is it?
Yes.
Saturday? Does it start? Or no?
Yeah, Saturday.
Is it? Yeah, Saturday. I took the Oilers plus 1.5. And then I also took over 5.5 goals in this one. I was really struggling. I wanted to take the over, but something is just telling me to take I wanted to take the under, but something just told me to take the over in this one. And then I just took those straight up. And then as we were talking, I actually took the money line for Edmonton. So I'm all in on this one at plus 114.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same line of thinking. I took the Oilers money line for game 1, and then I also took the Oilers to win the series at plus 115, so pretty much the same value.
Yeah.
Florida's really good, and they got to the final last year, so they have some experience now. So I think it's going to go probably 7 games, but the Oilers are just scary. I mean, like Connor McDavid hasn't even been – he's been good when he needs to be, but overall he hasn't been that great during the playoff run, and they're still able to – they've beat some very solid teams. So they're also getting plus value here. And I think these teams are very, very evenly matched. So, but yeah, I'm rolling with the Oilers in this series. I also don't like the Oilers, so if this is me jinxing them, then I'm perfectly happy with that. So,
well, what the fuck? I don't have any rooting interest. I just
okay. I'm sorry. Never mind.
I hope Dalton's against us because that's only good for me and Jake.
Oh yeah, well, you're gonna be happy then. So as far as game 1 goes,
here we go.
I didn't really like the value on the money on like the puck line or the money line, but I did bet on the total. I'm taking the under 5.5 for that game because most of the games from the last series, both Edmonton and Florida played, were under 5 goals. And head-to-head, I believe, now head-to-head, they have played some barn burners, but those were way back in November and December of 2023. So I think now that we're getting into playoff hockey, 5.5 for a game 1 where things are going to be a little tight. I think guys are going to be gripping their sticks a little tight. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup. I think you're going to see a low scoring game, like 3-2, 2-1 game.
I'm sorry, I had to do it.
But as far as the series goes, I'm also kind of going a little bit different direction. I'm taking Florida. I really like Florida to win this series. I think that they've shown in that Eastern Conference playoffs between beating Boston and the Rangers now. They look like the best team in hockey right now, and I think they're back with a vengeance after losing the cup last year. I think it is finally that year they get over the hump. And I'm taking the Panthers minus 1.5 games at plus 160 on the series spread. So that means they have to win in game 6 or less. So I think they can do that. I think they should have no problem doing that. Honestly, I don't see this being a 7-game series. I think they are the better team. And also to not go 7 games and for the Panthers to win, I think plus 160 is really good value for that. And then because I'm pretty much all in on the Panthers, I also took Sergei Bobrovsky to win the Conn Smythe at plus 450. I think if Panthers do win this series, I think it's going to be because their goaltending was really good. And I think it's going to be because Bobrovsky played really, really well. I think Bobrovsky's had a great career. He's got a couple of Vezinas. I think the one thing he doesn't have is a big Stanley Cup performance. He's played in a few Stanley Cups before. I believe he last year, and I think he played for the Flyers when they lost to the Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup years ago. And I think he played in one of those games. He wasn't the starter for all of them. But he has cup experience. He has a lot of playoff experience. I think he's going to be the reason why they win the cup. And plus 450, I think is really good value for that bet.
Yeah.
So
I like those.
for our fans who are listening who don't know what a Vezina is, just go ahead and explain that for them. I know
So
what it is,
the
but fans
Vezina
might not.
is best goalie in hockey,
Yeah.
which Bobrovsky's won twice. What I'm betting on him to win is the Conn Smythe Trophy. That is the series MVP. That's just and that's just the Stanley Cup Finals MVP. Or actually, I think it's the playoffs, and it's the MVP.
I think it is the playoffs. Yeah.
But he's also played really well so far this playoff, so I think it wouldn't be surprising as long as he has a good Stanley Cup.
That's for their people at home. They just need to know about that. So I appreciate that, Dalton. All right. Jake, you already went over your hockey bets, all right?
Yeah.
We're on board with the Oilers and Dalton's not.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
I do think the Panthers will win the series though. So what I'm hoping happens is Edmonton wins this first game so I can get a little bit better value, and then I'm gonna hop in on that Florida series. So I'm kind of doing a pre-bet for my big bet on the series.
Yeah. You're setting yourself up.
I'm setting myself up. And then if
Galaxy brain betting.
it is. And
I'm gonna bet on.
So here's what's gonna happen.
Game one.
Yes.
So that way
It's an investment.
that way the value for them winning the series increased.
That was the whole reason I took the money line for Edmonton, because I'm like, whatever I win on this is going to go into Florida winning the series if Edmonton wins. If not, we're going to go back to the drawing board and see what our next bet is.
And now what's going to happen is Florida's going to win game one and then Edmonton in 5.
Well, I mean, if I have to pick Edmonton to win the series, at that point, I'll have to. We'll just have to see what happens. We still have a few days. So anything can happen. All right. I have a feeling we're going to be separate on this one as well. Actually, I don't know. I'm curious how Jake feels about the NBA this game going on tomorrow night. I'm all in on the Mavericks winning game one, stealing one. I'm hoping Jake's on board with me and Dalton's not, because this has worked out. This dynamic.
I feel like that's what's gonna happen here.
All right.
That's what's gonna happen.
Well, I have a feeling Jake's about to tell me he's not, because I did the same thing I did with hockey, where I actually took the over 214.5.
I like
I took the over on that. I took the Mavs plus 6.5. I parlayed that together plus 264. Also took it straight up. Then I just saw the money line sitting there at plus 190. As we're just sitting there talking, I was like, all right.
It looks nice.
Let me go ahead.
Real appetizing.
Yeah. I was like, let me go ahead and throw $5 on this, go light on it. Whatever I win on it, we'll go Boston to win the series. So I'm just taking my hockey bet here and converting it into basketball. I'm just kidding. I'm not.
I was gonna say
I'm
that's
not doing that.
That's
I'm not
a
doing
strategy you will not find anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I did take Mavericks plus 6.5 and over 214.5. I might take the money line depending on what it looks like before the game starts or tips off tomorrow.
Yeah, that money line does look really good.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Celtics always win game ones. Like I feel like, I went with the Mavericks spread though at plus 6.5. I took that also. I also like the over. But I think just with how Kyrie and Luka have been playing, and I mean Dallas has had all their role players really step up in the playoffs as well with Washington, Gafford, Lively. Their whole team has really just been coming together, and because of that, I am taking them to win the series at plus 175. Because I think it's really good value. And this could look stupid because the Celtics are really good, but they also just haven't gotten it done in the finals yet. And I think if they were maybe playing the Mavericks, also haven't been, huge, had a lot of playoff success over the past couple of years, but Kyrie's been there before. He has that experience. This will be Luka's first finals, but with how he's played in the playoffs, I'm not really worried about the pressure getting to him. And just with the Celtics being as good as they are, just the fact they haven't gotten it done at this stage, and now they're playing a team with two guys who can take over at the end of games. I think the Mavericks, even if they don't win, they have a better shot than I think the odds give them credit for. And so because of that, I am taking them to win the series at plus 175. And I'm taking their spread tomorrow.
All right, Dalton, give us the good news here.
So
I have a feeling he's going with the Celtics.
yeah, I mean, I'm like, don't, but I have to go with the Celtics here.
Yeah.
This podcast will be a war for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean, just the way Boston has cruised through the playoffs so far,
Yeah.
I feel like they're just coming in a better groove right now, and I just think that they're a little less weathered than Dallas is right now. Now Dallas did have, they did win their conference final in 5 games, but all those games pretty much were slugfests. I mean, they really had to get. I mean, I know Indiana played Boston tough in some of those games, but for the most part, Boston has been in cruise control for most of this playoffs. And I think that's going to be a big factor for them. I also think, some might say that Dallas played tougher teams in the Western Conference. I don't know if we know that for a fact. But anyways, as far as game 1 goes, I'm taking Boston to win, and I'm taking them to cover minus 6.5. This is probably the one bet I don't feel great about.
That's even better.
Because it's a tight spread. I do think Boston will win that game. Boston's been very iffy on covering the spread. But 6.5, I don't think is too bad for a home game 1 against a team and in a situation where I do think they're the better team. Like you guys said, though, I love the over, and I parlayed the over 214.5 and Boston minus 6.5. I parlayed them together for a same game parlay and that's at plus 256 odds. So I think it's solid value. And then I'm all in on Boston for the series. I'm taking them. I'm doing the same bet I made for Florida. I'm taking Boston minus 1.5 games in the series at plus 100. So I think they finish in 6 or less. And I think getting plus odds on that is just good value. And then with that, assuming Boston wins the series, I think Jason Tatum being the finals MVP is about as safe as it gets unless Jaylen Brown absolutely goes off. I think Tatum will be the finals MVP, and I think it's not terrible value at minus 115 for a guy that will almost certainly be the MVP as long as they win the series. That's what I got for the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I like that. Have you looked into parlaying the Panthers and the Celtics?
No, but I should.
Let's see what that would look like real quick. Actually, it's not as good as I thought. It's only at plus 156.
Just for them to win the series.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what it is for them to for them to both cover 1.5. That's what I want to know. Are you able to find that? See if I can figure out how to get to that again. Finals props.
Final spread. So you said Celtics minus 1.5.
Celtics minus 1.5, and
All right.
Panthers minus 1.5.
Let me see.
I think I got it.
And Panthers minus 1.5 here, plus 420. I mean, it's not bad.
No.
That Panthers minus 1.5 scares me, though.
I don't think we're going to see any game sevens in either one this year. I don't see it.
Yeah. We'll see. I think you're downplaying that Boston and Indiana series a little bit. I think Indiana played them pretty tough. I know it was a sweep, and there was that one game where it was like 130 something to like 110 or something like that. But the other games were like within 5.
Yeah, but like I think the one, if I remember correctly, like Boston was up big, and then Indiana pulled back within close, and kind of like a lot of garbage time points, I think.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm excited for the games to get started. It's been kind of a boring few days waiting on these series to start.
Especially when your baseball team is bad. There's not much to be excited about.
Also, Jake, I don't know, do you have any Canadian Football League?
I'm so glad you asked. Yeah, I have 4 bets for the CFL this week. We got opening week. Let me go to CFL real quick. My CFL knowledge is very, very, very limited. And I made these bets based off the standings from last year, so don't trust me too much with them. But kicks off tomorrow. We have the Montreal Alouettes against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Blue Bombers won. I don't know why that name makes me laugh. The Blue Bombers won the championship last year, but I'm taking the Alouettes at +8 in that one. Montreal was pretty good. They did pretty well in the playoffs last year. And Winnipeg had a good run in the playoffs, but they're in the regular season, they weren't as great. So I think Montreal can cover by a touchdown. On Friday, we're taking the Hamilton Tiger Cats -1 against the Calgary Stampeders. Both of these teams were pretty mediocre last year. Hamilton was less mediocre, and their spread, the money line is -118, but their spread is -1, so I'm just taking the spread. Saturday, I'm taking the Saskatchewan, I hope I said that right, Rough Riders at +2 over the Edmonton Elks. Another matchup, both these teams were pretty bad last year. Saskatchewan was less bad, and I checked some preseason scores, and they did really well in the preseason. I'm taking them +2 here. It's -105 value, so pretty decent. And then Sunday, we got the British Columbia Lions and the Toronto Argonauts. I'm taking Toronto +6. I'm not really sure why they're underdogs by 6 points, because they went 16-2 last year and they made it to the championship. They didn't win, but they were pretty impressive. They only lost 3 games the whole year. And BC was decent, but I don't really know why they're favored by a touchdown here. So there might have been something I'm missing with that, but I'm going to take them there. I also like their money line at +235 because that seems like good value too. but yeah,
I trailed you on those.
I like
Cool.
it. Hamilton Tiger Cats, team of Raiders legend Eric Harris. Eric Harris got his start there years
I
ago.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, he was, because he's actually from like my area. He was gonna be working in the Utz factory, I think, like
The
the
what?
potato chips.
Oh,
And then he was gonna be working. He was gonna be working in a potato chip factory, and then got a tryout in the CFL, and then parlayed that into an NFL career.
Yeah, there's a couple of familiar players. I think I forget his name. Oh, Chad Kelly.
yeah.
Swag
was
Kelly.
like the MVP, I think, last year.
That's
He got
great.
didn't he get in some trouble a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, he did.
He's
I forgot what he did, but he got in trouble. But yeah, I think he
He's
won the
gotten in a
MVP
lot
last
of
year.
trouble, like everywhere he's been. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Like he is just legitimately not a good human being.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, he's spoiled rich kid.
Yeah.
His dad is two-time Super Bowl champion. Jim Kelly. Jim
Yeah.
Kelly has 2 rings.
Let's Google it real quick.
Or no, Jim Kelly's Buffalo. He has no rings.
Yeah,
Never
Yeah.
mind.
he's got 4 Super Bowl losses, I think.
I was thinking Phil Simms. That's what I was thinking of. I got him mixed up.
Oh
with
yeah,
Phil. Also had a douchey, mediocre quarterback son.
Yeah. No.
Everybody's catching strays tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. It's no Super Bowl wins.
No.
Hate to see that. All right. Well, does anyone have any other bets? I guess.
I got a
Well,
couple things.
All right. Let's hear them.
So I got some PLL, and then I do have a fun a politics special.
oh yeah.
But PLL, I almost hit last week. In the season opener, I hit 2 out of 3 on my parlay, just missed it. But now that we have a good baseline information, I like these bets a lot more this week. First game of the week on Friday night, we got the California Redwoods and the Carolina Chaos. I'm taking the over 25 in that game at -115. These are both teams that hit a lot of 2 bombs. So I think you're going to see a very high scoring affair. You're going to see a lot of long poles bringing the ball up and down the field, launching it from deep. I think you're going to see a very high scoring game there. Probably I'd say that's a first team to 15 wins type of game. So over 25 should hit easy. And then later that night, we got Utah Archers against the Denver Outlaws. The Archers looked great last week in a championship rematch against the Water Dogs. The Archers are the defending champs. They looked great last week. The Outlaws, not so much. I'm taking the Archers to cover -2.5 at +100. I know PLL games are typically pretty tight, but the Archers looked really good last week. And their offense, especially now that they moved Grant Ament to midfield, they just look really good. I think, and +100 is really good value to cover a reasonable spread. And then Sunday, we got the New York Atlas taking on the Carolina Chaos in the Chaos second game of the weekend. I think this is going to be a lot for the Chaos. They're playing an Atlas team that is pretty good, but I do think the Chaos are good enough to keep that. They looked really good last week. I think they're going to do enough to keep that game tight, but I don't think they're going to be able to win it. But I like them to keep it within a goal. I'm taking the Chaos +1.5 at -105. And then finally, Sunday evening, we've got the Maryland Whip Snakes against the Boston Cannons. Neither of these teams looked great last week, but the Whip Snakes still have a ton of talent. I think they have a lot more talent than Boston. I don't think Boston should be favored in this game, but they are, and I'm taking Whipsnake's money line at plus 105 with some great value there. Unfortunately, because you have the Chaos playing twice, you cannot parlay all 4 of them together, which is kind of lame. But I'm just straight betting all 4 of those games this week.
I like it.
And then finally, I teased it a couple weeks ago. We're now a month away from the Republican National Convention, where Donald Trump has said that he is going to announce his running mate. And the field over the last week and a half is kind of narrowed, and I think I'm ready to commit to a bet this week. And it's kind of lame, I'll be honest. I am betting the favorite. Right now, the favorite is Tim Scott at plus 350. It just makes too much sense. Tim Scott has a really good combination of he's loyal to Trump, which we know that's like the number one litmus test. Of all the people that ran against him in the primary, Tim Scott probably ran the most timid campaign against Trump. He didn't really try to attack him at all. And he's in somewhat of a swing state with South Carolina. It's a state that I do think could go either way. The state that Biden does well in. But I think having someone like Tim Scott could really solidify a state like South Carolina because he's from there. And also, identity politics matter. And I think him being African-American helps a lot. And I think Trump's going to really try to play the identity politics game this time. I don't see him going with just some white guy. I don't see it happening. Marco Rubio's been climbing up the betting odds lately, but I don't. After what we saw in 2016, I can't see those two running together.
What did he call him, Little Marco?
Oh my
Something
god!
like that.
Every game, like, there's no way. There's no way.
DT and Little Marco.
And also, Marco Rubio's from Florida. Trump does not need any help winning Florida. So I don't think, and also Trump's already doing really well for a Republican with Hispanic voters. I think it makes more sense for him to go with someone to try to win over black voters. And also, it does seem like at this point, the only other demographic he could pursue would be, trying to win over women more by picking a woman as his running mate. But all of the latest info, which we know changes a lot, but right now, all signs point to him picking a man to be his running mate. And if that seems to be the case, I think I would be shocked if it's Tim Scott. You could always hedge and throw a couple bucks on Elise Stefanik at plus 2,000 because of all the women. I do think it'll probably be her. There's whispers of Sarah Huckabee Sanders, but I just don't see it at plus 1,000. I don't think she is someone that Trump would want to have right next to him on camera, because I don't want to be rude, but like Trump is in Trump's mind. Just if we're just getting into the mind of Donald Trump, which is, he's like, I don't want that homely looking lady next to me on the campaign trail. Like, that's what it comes down to.
With all due respect.
With all due respect. I mean, we're just trying to be realistic and make some money here. And the bet to make, the smart money is on Tim Scott to be announced as his running mate at plus 350. That's what I got.
All right.
No, weird.
So, Tim Scott You heard it here first.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. He is the new VP. We're just going to go ahead and say it.
I think that plus 350 is only going to drop. So I would get that value now.
Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna have to dig around to find where you're gonna make that bet, but you can find it.
Bet online.
Yep, bet online. There we go. No free
They have
ads.
everything.
Yeah. So plus 350. What else they got on there?
I mean, they have all kinds of. They have debates. They have all kinds of political bets, but they have a ton of Olympics. They have they have a ton of Olympics. You can bet on the lottery.
What?
Like on like the New York State lottery, the first number, if it'll be odd or even.
Oh, okay.
You can bet on handball. They have darts, snooker, cricket. You can bet on Adele to release an album in 2024.
Yeah.
You can bet on American Idol. You can bet on the BET Awards.
Dude, all right.
It's wild. You can bet on whether or not Johnny Manziel is going to appear in the new Blue Mountain State series.
Yes.
Which I didn't even know they're rebooting that.
I think that's just a documentary about him.
Have you guys ever watched Blue Mountain State?
Yeah, dude.
Greatest show ever. Like one of the greatest shows ever.
The Oreo run.
They came back on was it on Netflix or something?
The movie?
Oh, I think so.
I saw it when I was
movie was rough.
flipping through the other week.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever watched the movie, but kind of don't want to because I don't want to have it be ruined.
It's okay.
Yeah. But so we'll just go ahead and end tonight before we go any crazier here. So Tim Scott, lock it in. CNN's going to post he's the new VP here soon, or VP candidate, I should say. So we appreciate you guys for listening with us tonight. If anything, I'm taking away from this is you can go work at an Utz potato chip factory and then make it to the NFL. I think that should be the takeaway for all of us here tonight. Forget about the bets, forget about the money, the laughs we had. Go from Utz to the NFL. You don't need to go to college.
Well, he went to college, but just a D2 school.
We don't need to know that detail.
Cal UPA.
I'm going to Potato University, bro. Straight to the NFL.
I mean, California, PA might as well be the same thing. It's barely a school. Not even a school anymore. They got consolidated with like 3 other schools.
How do you get consolidated as a school?
They still like have their own sports teams, I think, but like it's like one dean and one administration now. Like they combined like Cal U, Edinburgh, and Clarion, like all those small Western PA schools.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Well, you guys have learned. Yeah, you guys have learned a lot. Listen to our tangents. So thank you all again. Let us know if you're going to be trailing us on any of our bets. Tweet at us your bets, or what do we call it now? Since it's not Twitter anymore. X at us.
X post. I don't know.
X post at us.
Tweet us. Just tweet us.
Just tweet us.
Yeah.
All the cool kids are still tweeting. So thank you guys again. Have a good night, and see you all next week, Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern.